Hey everyone! I bet you're surprised to see me again. I'd figure after a double upload you probably wouldn't ever see me again. Not for another 2 weeks, but I'm Eire from Saturn's Edge and you're watching more Persona 3 Reload, and we are celebrating a very special occasion this week, and overall throughout my entire career, just doing YouTube or whatever. Not even a career, this is a side thing. Point is, this is our 10th episode of Persona 3 Reload. This is honestly a major step. I've never actually gone 10 of anything on anything. I've never had to do something 10 times in a row. That is, that's a bit tricky. Anyway, so I'm glad that I can actually, like, make it to this point, especially considering there's, like, a lot to talk about in this episode. And you may notice, hey, it's, like, a lot shorter, so I think that's a good thing, you know? Shorter episode is definitely what was needed. Overall, I'm kind of excited for where this goes out to. It's been kind of difficult getting back into the swing of things with, making videos and doing art and stuff like that. It's not that I get busy, it's more that sometimes I just get unmotivated, and I'm pretty sure everyone gets like that at some point. Maybe it's just like maybe it's a seasonal thing, I don't know. I think overall I shouldn't worry about it and just get to working, you know? Usually that fixes the problem. I don't have much to say, but it looks like, it doesn't look like, we are going to be going to a new area in Tartarus. That's right, yeah. Pretty big moment. We're taking our next big step throughout Tartarus, our next, step into the next stage of this game. And we're still not even close to, like, I don't know, the 25% mark. Yeah, it's, this is a long game. Probably should not have made this my first playthrough, for my YouTube channel, but hey, who knows, maybe it'll be a fun time. No, it will be. I know I'm kind of flip-flopping right now about different, things, but I just get like this sometimes, it's a normal thing. Overall, you could see that Tartarus is, like, actually shifting and moving, and, like, all the stairs are going right, but now the pathway is clear, we can actually safely get up the stairs, and we're gonna be going to a new section. This is where the fun begins. Anyways, now I'm moving on to the next part here. I present to you a new block. Welcome.
We gotta keep moving.
Well, welcome to the Arqa block. Arqa is an archaic Hebrew word, and it means land or ground. And this is the third world in Hebrew culture. I cannot pronounce what it's actually from because I'm not experienced in that sort of stuff. This is to match the theming that Tartarus is entirely made up of these blocks that are all references to a specific piece of Hebrew culture. This is pretty interesting, because now we have an example of the real world, then we have something that is the world, which is the Tevel block, and now we have Arqa, which represents land or ground, and based on the designs that are everywhere, we have skulls, we have tentacles, we have a lot of purple, oddly enough, and this is to clash against the original blues and greens of the first area. This purple really clashes and stands out amongst the previous colors that we've seen in this game. And overall, it's a nice touch. But we have no idea how this correlates exactly to land or ground just yet. Maybe the skulls represent to, like, where the dead may lay. That's possible. I phrased that really weirdly. You get the point. I am really not great at phrasing things. Anyway, as we move on, you're gonna see more of, like, the stuff on the walls as I try to actually, like, explore more and, like, look at the environment.
Oh, can we go up those stairs?
It's actually pretty interesting whenever you start looking around at it, because at first I didn't really notice, like, anything off about the area. I just saw that, like, it was purple, there was drops everywhere. It kind of had, like, this ocean theme to it in a way, like a sea floor. But the more I look at it now, it's pretty obvious that, like, the things coming out of the ground are, like, stalagmites rather than stalactites. and, like, it's possible that maybe if you looked up, there'd be stalactites. I'm not entirely sure, but hey, it's hoping. A lot of the shadows that we're fighting here are, you know, either new or continuations of stuff we've seen before. We have Frivolous Maya. We haven't seen these just yet, but like any other Maya, they're easily weak to one thing, and you can just knock them out and deal with them along the way. They do have a different mask, though, but they are still a part of the Maya family of enemies. This episode is a lot shorter, mainly because, like, this is the last bit of footage I have from my second recording session of just, you know, collecting all this stuff together. The way I do my recording sessions is that first I record things, like I record the on-screen footage. I don't have any audio coming from me personally, because it's not needed at that moment, and live commentary specifically for this game isn't exactly needed. But whenever I have like a massive playthrough stored up that's like maybe 3, 4, potentially 5 hours long, I will then take that video and have it saved. I'll then cut it up into sections, like random sections, but enough to make the video seem interesting, to create a good, like, decently long video that's between 30 to an hour, potentially an hour and 15 minutes. I'm starting to switch more over to 30 to 45 minute blocks because I realize that an hour is just way too long, and it's kind of unreasonable. I would prefer to stick to the 30 to 45 minute block. And there's good ways to cut these off, as long as I keep within that time frame, so it makes a lot of sense. And I can pump out more of these by doing that. Anyways, after I get done recording the giant chunk and then cutting it up into sections wherever I feel like, I'll then put it into Microsoft Clipchamp, aka an editing software that just sucks. I am sorry, but this is not it. Anyway, I'll then record my audio through OBS. And at first, I was doing these in small segments, like small clips of voice audio, because I thought that's what would be best, right? But the problem is, this creates a ton of voice clips that all take up storage on my screen, on my computer, causing my computer to slow down, and effectively make Clipchamp crash. So, maybe about episode 6, 7, I came up with an idea that maybe I could just record all of it in one go, and use the pause button on OBS whenever I needed to take like a break or something. In case I needed to get food, in case I just ran out of things to talk about, in case I needed to look, you know, more into the footage I was working with, because occasionally I'll just forget what's going on. And this actually works out a lot better. It also means that potentially it cuts down all my voice clips, going from like 50 to 70 like voice clips for a single episode that are all like a minute long, okay? They're not even... half of them aren't even a minute long, to now having 1 to 2 very long clips that take hours. Not hours, but they take a longer time. This is way nicer. I prefer this, like, long-form method. It saves storage, and I could just delete the voice clips after because the video then gets compiled. If I'm done using a certain section of, well, of the video, right? Of this video I've made. Like, I'm completely done with this after this video gets uploaded. Then I could just delete that video and then create a new one, starting from the new point. This is actually pretty nice. It's a change of pace. I prefer this exact method to recording videos than any other method that I've done before. And I recorded a couple videos before, and it was like for school projects and stuff, and they were alright. But back then I didn't really need to edit much. Editing was fairly easy. It's just drop in place and whatnot. But with this, like, now it's less of a drop in place and more it's like, hey, you actually have to consider what you're going to say in the episode, you actually have to plan things out a little bit. You don't have to write a script, but writing a script occasionally could be nice. It's nice overall. Oh man, that treasure hand ran away. Now I remember why I just didn't like this specific part, was because that treasure hand ran away. And I was so sad, because I wanted that money really bad. Anyway, earlier I picked up a persona that you barely got to see, but it looked like an onion, or like a shallot. And its name is Onmaraki. Wait, no. Yeah, Onmaraki. There we go, Onmaraki. Now, it is a part of the Hermit Arcana, and on Meraki is pretty interesting. Like many other personas I've stated the words for, the exact words are, hey, it's pretty interesting. Wouldn't you like to hear about it? Man, I cannot come up with anything new, I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's a bird demon created from the spirits of freshly dead corpses that appears in Shinto mythology. It resembles a black crane, and if a person is caught sleeping in a temple sermon hall, the Onmaraki will rebuke them while flapping its wings. It is said to shout the Degeneration Sutra in the household altar of priests who neglect to read their sutras. In modern Japanese art, the Onmaraki will often take on the comical appearance of roasted chicken. This is most likely due to the works of an 18th century artist named Toriyama Sekien? I have to look up how to pronounce that because I feel bad. Oh, I see. That's his pen name. His real name is Sano Toyofusa. So, scholar, poet, and an artist of Japanese folklore back in the 1700s. That is actually really cool to learn. Now I got to learn about an artist from a completely different time period in a field that I had no idea existed. That's actually pretty interesting. Man, I have said the word interesting how many times over the course of these videos? I need to keep, like, a count. I might actually go through all my old videos and count every single time I've said the word interesting. I need to come up with a new word. Man, I feel bad. It's pretty cool that, this bird demon, like, in the mythology is just, like, it's just, like, a spirit that's like, hey, you're not doing, like, your sutras, you're not using the temple for its correct, like, usage of praying. It's actually kind of neat, that it's like that. You could tell I'm really stretching for words if I say neat. So, you know, there's that. And we also picked up another persona just a minute ago. That is Fornius. Fornius is a different kind of everything, really. A part of the Emperor Arcana. Here we have according to the writings, the Lesser Key of Solomon. Fornius is the 30th demonic spirit listed in the Ars Goetia. He is a great Marquis of Hell with 29 legions under his command, partly comprised of the Order of Angels and Thrones, and appears as a sea monster. In this case, in this game specifically, he's a manta ray. I like the design. I really do. Manta rays are pretty interesting. I need to come up with a new word. I like manta rays in their appearance because the flat design, the flat, like, biology and anatomy is just unique compared to other types of fish or mammals. That's what I should say.
Okay.
Or really any animal in general, because a manta ray is not a fish. What am I thinking? No, they're a fish. They're just not... Wait, are they fish or a mammal? You can tell I'm an idiot. Like, this is no question. I'm actually stupid. Anyway, when summoned, he can make men well-versed in rhetoric, give them a good name, teach them foreign tongues, and make them trusted by friend and foe alike. His name seems to come from Fornus, or oven. He can take on many different forms, but mainly prefers his human form. Which is weird, because in this, he's, again, a manta ray. Well, actually, the long stinger maybe says, like, a stingray. Point is, they're part of the ray family. But, oh, he does have hands. Wow, that is something I did not know about his design. He actually has, like, humanoid hands coming off the body. Because in every time I've seen him, it always looks like a flat manta ray. Nothing special there, you know? That's, it's kind of disturbing to see in the design. That's crazy. Wow. As long as I don't say interesting, this should be good. But no, seriously, I didn't know that it had arms. It just always looks flat, like there's no anything to it. I just didn't recognize the arms on it in any game I've played with him in it, which was, let's see, Persona 5 Strikers, Persona 4 Golden, now Persona 3 Reload. Yeah, I didn't notice him once. Wow. I didn't notice they had hands. That's, it's impressive that I missed that completely. I'm really losing it here. Oh, and in the background of the fights here, I just noticed this when recording. The giant face in the background, that is cool. I like that. Overall, I just like Arca's whole appearance and look with the purple and the kind of electronic lights going on, where it's like going up those tentacle things, or the stalagmites. But I also do like, you know, the faces in the background, masks and all that. That's pretty cool. It's just, man, there's just so much to like say about this game visually.
These faces are seriously
yeah, visually appealing. That's the word I'm looking for, that I should be saying for a lot of things when it comes to design. Persona as a series, and also this specific iteration of Persona, Persona 3 Reload, is genuinely visually appealing to me. Because there's so many different elements and so many different things going on that really strike my eye and make it seem like it's just unique compared to other games. The worlds and environments are colorful, the characters are interesting. That's the one time I'm going to use that during this whole segment. The characters are well developed, and actually have story and plot relevance and all these other things. The story is... I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece, but overall, Persona games have great stories. They really do. I wouldn't call them, like, the best of the best writing ever written. You know, I'm not saying, like, it, you know, it beats out, like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings. I actually really like Lord of the Rings, though. Point is, I'm not going to say it's going to beat out that, because honestly, Persona does not beat out something, like, as grand as Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or any other, like, really great, like, top-level written works. But it's still kind of high on the list, and especially when you're comparing, like, plot lines in video games, like actual plot and story in video games, to other games and such, Persona easily takes the cake as one of the top spots. I wouldn't say it's number one, because frankly, I don't know what number one is. I haven't actually experienced what number one is in terms of, like, plot and writing in a video game. But I know that Persona takes a higher slot for having these things. I'm trying to talk about this game and its series in a way that's not like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever, because it's not. There are better things than it, but I also don't want to downplay it so hard that it seems terrible, because it's, again, not perfect, but for the sake of talking, it's perfect. It's perfect in the sense of, like, what you're looking for is more than what you're looking for here, and what you get is completely different. You get a lot more than you ask for. If you want, like, a story-driven game, this is more than that. If you want a game with cool characters and designs and enemies and such, you're getting more than that. Same with basically anything I could say that you want that this game has to offer. This game has more because it offers all that other stuff on top of it. It's overall just a complete package of a game. And that's surprising to say, considering that a lot of the Persona games, like modern I should say, maybe around 5. Actually, no, Royal. Well, it's hard to say because Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal are an interesting case. But it's interesting to say that this game, Persona 3 Reload, is an interesting package. Not interesting. Wow, I need a minute. It's weird to say that it is a complete package, considering this game is going to have, and does have, you can buy it, it has a season pass for DLC, where it offers you costumes, it offers you background music from other games, but those aren't, like, the focus of the DLC. The DLC's focus is what's coming later this year. All the way, I think, around winter time, I think November. What they are putting out is the epilogue, something that Persona 3 had as well. Persona 3 was interesting in the case that it had a full game, and then they released an expansion upon it back during, 2006, 2007. And this expansion was called The Answer. And so, we're getting a second coming of that with Reload, where The answer is released later. This is so cool, in the sense that, like, we're getting kind of just, like, we're kind of, like, taking this part in time and, like, replicating it again. I will admit, I paid a lot of money for this game, because I bought the full package for this game, specifically on Steam, which is not, like, you know, the physical bundle, which is completely different, but the full package on Steam is a pretty good price. It's a high price. I believe that because I bought it, I need to have the Season Pass too. Like, I think it's reasonable that because I bought all the stuff for the game, when it came out, like right around the time, that I want the Season Pass included in my purchase. But it's completely separate. And I don't know why they're doing that. Whenever the news came out, the Season Pass was like $35, and the game itself is like $70. A lot of people were mad, and honestly, I side with them. That's crazy. That's $100 on a game that you expect to be completed. But what you're paying for is $70 for the first main portion of the game, the entire, like, main focus of the game. And then the epilogue, which is a whole other second game technically, on top of this one, is another $35. I just don't think that's reasonable. And a lot of people feel the same way, they really do. And it's kind of disappointing to see that, like, nobody's getting compensated for this. Even people that went so far in as to spend $250, like US dollars, on the game, and, like, all of its cool stuff that came with, like, I don't know, what else did it come with? Did it come with, the main focus of that was, like, the DLC that was added on top of it, and this special figure of a character. Like, that figure is high quality, honestly high quality figure, and I can see why it would be up to $250. But if I spent $250, I expect to have the entire game. So I understand where people are coming from on the higher end of the market when it comes to, you know, buying the full physical package, the full digital package, just the game. Like, I understand how they feel. I'm not going to argue for Atlus. I'm not going to defend them at all, because it is a genuinely bad decision that they have made here. I think that knocking down the price, even, would do great justice for them. You can actually note that on the Steam profile for that expansion pass, for Persona 3 Reload, that specific DLC, it got review bombed because people were, like, that upset about it. I'm still going to buy it. There's no denying that. Genuinely, I'm 100% still gonna buy it. Why? Because I want to play the full game. And because I never played Persona 3 before, I want to actually experience what the epilogue is like, what the proper story entails, what all of this is leading up to. Because I don't know what happens. And this is the time to do that. Whenever November comes around, you know, and I have the DLC already purchased or whatever, I want to learn what happens. And this is how we're doing it. Does it make me upset that I'm spending an extra $35 on this game? Honestly, not really. It doesn't make me actually upset that I have to spend more money, you know? Sure, spending more money on anything would make anyone upset, but for a game like this, for Persona 3 Reload, a game that I have had a good time with, that I can say is really a game that I think was worth purchasing in the first place, was worth, like, checking in on the announcements for, the teaser trailers, seeing, like, all the kinds of events and community stuff happen online, I'm going to pay it. I'm gonna pay it, I'm gonna get that DLC, I'm going to play it through its entirety, record it, and upload it, because that's what I feel like doing. That would, in my opinion, that's the thing I want to do. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. Overall, I think Atlus did make a bad decision when it came to making the DLC as much as it is. Or not announcing, like, hey, the DLC will come later at, like, launch or in the trailers. I think that's a major part of this. We don't want to be, like, we don't want to be led on, but we also don't want to be, like, I don't know, completely surprised. I think it'd be fair to say that, like, hey, you know, if they told us, like, hey, due to time constraints, we've had to make this epilogue DLC. Are you okay with paying this price for it? If you ask us that question ahead of time, most people are actually not going to be mad. As long as you keep the public informed on something in the correct timing of things, they're not going to be mad. That's kind of the important thing to note, is that lately companies and the fan bases of various games and such aren't interacting great. They really aren't, and it's kind of sad. Kind of, like, we never had, like, a layer of communication between each other, but now, because, like, all this stuff is public about different companies, there's kind of, like, this layer of, like, communication that does need to happen, and it's awkward. Because it's either you have a layer of communication, and you disregard it on either side of things. You, as a fan, like, you constantly berate them, you aren't offering anything actually useful or helpful. Like, there's ways you can mess up as a fan, and then there's company ways to mess up, which is you're doing shady business, you're not keeping your fans properly informed of, like, what you are doing, or exactly what is happening. Like, yeah, it's a mess. Opening up a layer of communication between developers or companies, and, like, fans of the specific work could actually provide, like, a lot of helpful stuff, but I don't think we could theoretically do it. Like, there's no way that we could do it. I think on paper it'd be a good idea. Theoretically and in practice, we couldn't do it at all. Nowadays, I can tell that a lot of people have gotten more entitled. Especially, like, if you're a fan of a game. This is more prominently seen with, like, the way that Cyberpunk released, and, like, everything that built up to its eventual failure at launch, but then revival whenever the DLC and the anime came out. Like, yeah, there's a lot there, just alone in that section. And so many things went wrong. It's kind of like the prime example of don't open a layer of communication, but at the same time with communication, like, that's kind of like the big point of doing things, so it's a double-edged sword. I'm kind of rambling about this thing that I just made up, basically. That's really not good for me. I could probably focus on something else for a change. Man. I could focus on enemies, maybe. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I mean, enemies, I mean, we've got a fight with a lightning eagle, a will-o-wisp raven. I mean, ravens are stuff we've seen before. Eagles are a new one, but they're basically just ravens. They just look a little bit different. They kind of look more like vultures than they do eagles, I'll admit. Actually, no, the head shape is more eagle-like, not vulture-like. I'm wrong. Overall, this episode is pretty basic in the sense of, like, we're exploring a new area, we're fighting new enemies, we're occasionally getting new things and mechanics. That's really about it.
What's next?
Did I ever actually explain the magician? I don't know if I... No, I did. I 100% did explain the magician. That was last episode. I'm sorry for, like, forgetting, but... everything's kind of a blur lately, honestly. Summer just started and... well, it didn't start, but... summer season is starting, and a lot of my friends are finally free from, like, college or other things, but they're definitely busy with work. So, like, I want to try and make plans with them, but at the same time it's kind of difficult because of, you know, life gets in the way. At the same time, though, I mean, I just don't have a lot of time to hang out with them. I work weekdays. I end up getting home at, like, I don't know, 3 or 4, possibly 5 on a Friday. And, like, I just get home, I'm beat. And I don't want to drive 2 hours to get back to my hometown. I really don't, especially when considering that there's more stuff to do out here, where I'm currently living, than in my hometown 2 hours away. it's a shame to say that because I really like my hometown. I kind of miss where I live. Mainly for the people, and not really for the setting.
My bladder's about to burst.
It's,
What?
it's kind of upsetting to say something like that. I really don't want to trash on the place, but, like, at the same time, I'm not wrong for thinking the way that I'm thinking, right? It's a 2-hour drive, and I'm just tired all the time. And it's not even because of work, it's just... I don't know. I think it's just natural fatigue or something, you know? Maybe I just don't get enough sleep in a day. I'm clocking in like 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night, you know? That's not great. I probably need more. I mean, as I'm recording this video right now, it's actually like... Yeah, it's like 9:40-ish. Yeah. At night. And this is like on a Sunday, so...
Oh my.
Let's see, yeah, if I upload this video Monday morning, and I'm recording it by Sunday night, I mean, that just says a lot right there.
Good day.
I've got work tomorrow, and I'm out here making a video. I'm out here making a video that, like, nobody is guaranteed to watch. I check my analytics from time to time, just for... Not even for fun, just to check how stuff's doing, you know? Saying it's for fun is, like... Saying it's for fun is just like, oh yeah, you know, I eat for fun. Like, no, that's not necessary. You do it because you do it. Ah, man. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, I check my analytics from time to time. And, let's see. Episode 9, the most recent episode I made, prior to this one.
Welcome to the Velvet.
It does have a couple views on it, but, like, they're to, like, the 2-second mark.
Register.
And, you know, it's got 3 comments. Like, you know, like always, it always has 3 comments, no matter what, because my friend is my friend. He always just does that. But then the one previous to it, number 8, 0 views, nothing. Like,
Please take a look. Please take a look.
I don't even feel bad about it. Overall, I knew it was a bad episode, but I didn't think it would be, like, so bad that it, like, nobody watched it. Man, that's actually funny.
Please take a look.
The more I look back on it, the more I can laugh at it. But, like, you know, at the moment, like, maybe a day or 2 later from, you know, actually checking analytics and stuff, I was a little bit, like, saddened by it, I guess. But I still carried on with episode 9. Actually, no, I filmed 8 and 9 at the same time. Never mind.
We look.
But I still carried on just through my work week because it's work. What can you do? You're not supposed to, like, you know, mope about something you can't control, like views. You're supposed to just move on. And so when I'm making this one, it's funny to think, like, man, this video might actually get, like, 1 view on it and 3 comments, but the one in the middle won't. It's so funny to think that. I'm sorry. I kind of just, like, I don't have, like, a sense of humor that's, like, messed up. It's just sometimes I find something funny that it just doesn't seem like it would be at all. And this is one of those things. My life is fairly boring, so whenever something bad or good happens, it's immediately funny to me. Just in any direction. I don't really know. I made 2 different save files here because, hey, you never know what happens. Having more saves is better than having, you know, 1 or 2. Not 1, 1 or 2. Having, you know, multiple saves is better than just having 1. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this episode here because, I mean, we're coming to time. Mainly because, well, I mean, it's the end of the episode, what can you do? I don't really have much else to say in general, but hey, you know, Monday, start of the work week, start of the week in general. Enjoy yourself this week, take it easy, you know, really pump through it. And, hey, I've been Eire, this has been Saturn's Edge, and, I'll see you all around next time, okay? Bye.